Okay, in this video we're just going to have a look at the new Lumix Flow app, and sort of full disclosure before we start, I don't have the new S1R2, so we're just going to have a look at the app, but I'll also show you what happens when you try to connect like a camera that's unsupported. So the first challenge I came across was trying to find it in the App Store. So if you type in like Panasonic Flow, you're not going to find it. If you type in Lumix Flow, which is the actual name of the app, you're also not going to find it, which is insane. I don't know if this is like a search indexing thing. This is Android, by the way. But if you type in Panasonic Lumix Flow, then it will show. So like this is available now in the App Store. It seems quite widely compatible. You can see it there. Look, so we've got the app by searching Panasonic Lumix Flow. And then from there you can kind of install it. So we'll have a quick look at the bits for the app so you can see like it's got a full app page now. There's a few bits and pieces on there about like the the privacy bits that you need to adhere to for the app and stuff. And then it's got the bits on there that you can do. So you've got the external monitor modes, and you've got all the things like the new storyboarding features and stuff, and you can see there the compatible devices are basically the S1R Mark II, and then the ones coming down the line are like the S5 Mark II, Mark IIX, and the GH7. So older cameras currently not in the support list, but even the G9 Mark II is not there, so kind of who knows what compatibility is coming sort of down the line for this. I've got a GH6, which you'll probably know if you watch this channel anyway, and I did plug that in a bit later in this video, and you can kind of see what happens. Obviously it's not built to work with it, but it does recognize the camera to an extent, so we can kind of you can kind of take a look at that. This is a very small app, so it'll install really quickly onto your device. It's it's a tiny app really. It only does like a few different things. So once you've got it installed, you can kind of see it opens up now in this window. And it's essentially just like a little preview of what it does. So we've got like Lumix mode, which is like the storyboarding feature that they've added in, and then you can do the like recording bit, and then there's the preliminary editing bit. So this is where you can sort of export an XML file, and it will do all of that in your editing suite. And you've also got the like the connection between the camera. So this is a tethered connection. So whereas say for example Lumix Lab or Lumix Sync, they wirelessly connect, whereas this one actually is tethered over USB-C cable. So before we can start, we need to accept the license and privacy policy. I'm not going to read all of that, but it's up to you to obviously check it and look through it. And then it kind of asks you what you are, so you can add this in or not. I'll put a few bits in just to get through to this. They're all required. So they just want some basic information about you. So I'm just going to put in that I'm a professional side business for the photographer and filmmaker bit, and then I'm in the 40s. And I just put on there that I don't use social media, and then get started. And then this is the main interface for it. So you've got the video production workflow and the external monitor. And then interestingly, if I plug in my GH6, which obviously I know isn't supported, but I do get this message that says allow Lumix Flow to access the GH6, and then I press OK, and then it just brings me back to here. So it's interesting that obviously I can't use it, but it's interesting that it knows that it is a GH6. So, I'm hoping they do add more support for other cameras in the future. And then the next bit, we can look in the video production workflow section, and it kind of just gives you a quick like intro here. And, you can just get rid of that. And you can see under here, there's a few different kind of like pre-made storyboards. And what you can do is kind of go in and you can look at the pre-made ones, or you can create a new project. So like we can just come in and just create a new one, like, you can just call it whatever you want. And then the idea is you create your new project, so, like a film project, and then you can come in and you can do all the scripting and storyboarding for it. So you can see here, you've got like, you can put in things like your character names, and then it's got the kind of scene direction there as well. So, you know, you could put in all the bits like who's supposed to be saying which pieces of dialogue, maybe some of the bits that happen around like the storyboard. So, you know, the storyboard's there to tell you who's in the scene and what type of shot you're doing. But then you can put in a bit more description in here. So, you know, even if you're doing like an interview or something like that, you can have in the kind of, you know, potentially the kind of questions or at least some of the dialogue that's going to kind of go into this bit. And by this point, you're probably just thinking, well, you can just kind of do this in like a, you know, a Word doc or something, which is true, but it does kind of pull together a little bit more, like the more you kind of look at it. So when you're in this bit, what you can then do once you've done it, you can export your scripts or your storyboards as PDFs, which is quite nice. And then sort of moving on from this bit, you know, you can write a few bits in there for the scene. Like I say, just like a, you know, description for what's happening. Obviously, it's going to be like pretty descriptive, so I'm not going to like go into loads of detail writing something in there. But the next bit you can do is quite nice actually in terms of in the storyboard. So you can click up into there and then you can actually start adding shots into each scene. So when you add a shot, then you've got this menu here where, you know, you can kind of name it, you can add a background, and then you've actually got the option to sort of use these predefined templates, which are actually quite nice. Like I think this is all right, you know, just for like basic kind of shot stuff. You know, you can have like different shots. So you know, you can have like a really wide shot, or you can have close-ups of people, mid shots, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of nice because sometimes you just kind of keep this stuff in your head, and actually it doesn't hurt to have it sort of, you know, just there and kind of ready, even if it's like an interview situation and you kind of think, well, I want some of these shots where, you know, if you've got two people in an interview scene, like, are they going to be in it together, or is it going to be two frames where you've got like one camera on one person and one on the other person, or, you know, shot separately. So it kind of gives you like a few bits you can kind of mess around with, and you can add in things like shot timings. You can put in the locations for the shots, which, you know, gone a bit vague, but, you know, you can put those bits in. So, yeah, it's quite handy. I mean, I don't know sort of how much I would use this. Maybe I might give it a go for like a couple of things to sort of see how it works out. Usually I'm a bit kind of, I have everything kind of written down on like paper and stuff. I've got like usually a paper storyboard and a paper shot list, but it wouldn't hurt to maybe give this a try and sort of see how it works out. The like I say, I do like these parts of it, like the actual like close up and medium shots and things like that, and just having that at a glance and kind of knowing roughly what you want, I think is quite nice for like certain bits, because it makes you think a little bit more about like the pre-production of stuff, which generally I sort of try to do anyway, but sometimes you don't get into as much detail as you'd like to before kind of doing like doing shooting. Like I say, even if it's not, you can add these bits in too. So like you can edit your scene names and things, and you can have them set as like indoor and outdoor, and if they're supposed to be morning, afternoon, evening, night, that type of stuff. And yeah, it's just adding that bit extra thought into it, because any filming, you know, it doesn't have to be creative filming. The more structure you have and the more of an idea of what you want to get, the better the day's going to go, because just coming up with things on the day makes things very hard. And then you can do things in this like, you know, say you have like a location issue or a timing issue or something, you can actually swap things around in the app as well, which is quite nice. So, you know, you can move like scenes above each other and move shots in different orders and stuff like that. So that's kind of nice, because you know, being able to have like a shot list and being able to sort of shuffle it around is quite good. And then you also have these kind of like preset storyboards, which are quite good. So you can like take a look through them and kind of see what they've done. And it's quite nice because like you can sort of pose the direction of people, and obviously you can change like the colors of them and stuff. So you kind of know like which person is which character and so on visually. Obviously you've got the option to write all the notes in there and everything, but you can kind of see that they've added this in there, and you can see like the shot lists kind of changing and things like that. For whatever reason, when you try to pull a scene, it doesn't pull the shots with it. I'm not sure if that's intentional or a bug, but it's you know, it's quite nice. It's like it kind of does what it's supposed to do. You know, obviously it's much better if you can have it tied in with the shooting functionality. And like I say, hopefully they do bring that to the other cameras. I think if they did, I'd certainly give it a go, sort of see how it works from kind of like a pre-production to post-production workflow. But yeah, hopefully, you know, you found that helpful, even though, like I say, it was just very much like a kind of overview of it, because I don't have the S1R2 to kind of do the full kind of like capture part of it.